So far as the UK is concerned, I've been very clear over a long period that we must...
Starmer, Mr. Macron, threatening to my country by new...
Tensions between Russia and the West have been building for years, and Starmer's bold remarks on military aid for Ukraine and nuclear threats hit a nerve. Russia, always watching the global stage, wasn't about to ignore Starmer's tough stance. With stakes this high, a single comment can spark chaos, and this time, it may have just ignited a geopolitical crisis. So what does this mean for Britain and the world?
Okay. The British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has said he's willing to put British troops in Ukraine as peacekeepers after any deal.
It's unacceptable. British troops will be direct target for our missiles. You will get coffins in return.
Just remind him, Russia is the aggressor.
The political scene just got a major shakeup. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is now at the center of an intense international clash that no one saw coming. In a shocking turn of events, a Russian leader openly targeted Starmer during a live TV broadcast. And this wasn't just a simple disagreement, it was a full-blown verbal assault that even took seasoned political analysts by surprise.
Is Donald Trump considered by you a friend of Russia?
Of course not. Of course not. How can be how he can be a friend if he is tanks right now on a battlefield and killing my people?
But Donald Trump is somebody whom your president can do business with, evidently.
We're gonna do business with anybody who wants to get business.
Starmer has never held back from making bold moves on the global stage. Since becoming Prime Minister, he's been clear about his position on international security, especially regarding Russia. He's been vocal in his support for Ukraine, calling for stronger military aid and condemning Russia's actions. Starmer has also stood firm on nuclear deterrence, emphasizing Britain's commitment to NATO. But his tough statements haven't gone unnoticed, they've sparked serious tension with Russia. His strong rhetoric and warnings about escalating threats have clearly angered Moscow. For a nation like Russia, which views any show of strength as a challenge, Starmer's firm stance comes across as provocative, and it may have put Britain on a risky path with one of the world's largest military powers.
Of course, we have some problems with economy, but you can do nothing with that. And we will fix it. You know that Russian people live pretty good. And our economy is recovering. Your sanctions is nothing. Nobody feel it here.
Well, hang on a minute. President Trump has just today, as you will know, said he's considering large-scale further banking sanctions and tariffs if Russia doesn't agree to a peace deal.
And what it looks like, it sounds like a mockery, because you already put all sanctions you could. And we live under sanctions for decades. We have our own...
When Starmer's tough talk reached Moscow, Russia wasted no time firing back. Enter Ivan Popov, a Russian MP from Vladimir Putin's United Russia Party. On Russian state TV, Popov didn't mince words. He delivered a sharp, calculated critique of Starmer's approach to global politics. He made it clear that Britain had no place making threats against a nuclear superpower like Russia. With every statement, Popov underscored Russia's military strength and its ability to challenge Western leaders with precise and powerful rhetoric. His message was clear: if pushed further, Russia wouldn't hesitate to escalate. This wasn't just a defense of Russia's actions, it was a direct warning to Starmer and any leader who dared to provoke Moscow.
Coalition of willing. Europe must do the heavy lifting on Ukraine, says Starmer, amid fears Trump will abandon continent. Sorry, I couldn't even read that. Let's have a look. So after Zelensky went and embarrassed himself at the White House because he basically got told how corrupt he was, and Trump flat out said to him, it seems like you want to continue this war. It seems like you want a lot more people to be taken out. Positioning himself as a bridge of the White House, Sir Keir told a press conference that we still regarded America as a reliable ally. We still regard them as a reliable ally. We agree with the president on urgent need for a durable peace. Now we need to deliver together. Keir Starmer, he actually does genuinely think this. He thinks he's got a personality.
From Russia's point of view, Keir Starmer's political strategy has been a serious misstep. Moscow sees him as overplaying his hand, trying to project strength without the real power to back it up. To them, Starmer's bold rhetoric about standing up to Russia and supporting Ukraine isn't just reckless, it's naive. They view him as an inexperienced leader, trying to make an impact on the global stage without fully understanding the consequences. In Russia's eyes, Starmer's tough talk looks more like posturing than real strength. They believe Britain, under his leadership, is far from the global power it once was, and his aggressive stance seems like a desperate attempt to regain lost influence. Simply put, Moscow doesn't see Starmer as a serious threat. They see him as a leader out of his depth, making risky and misguided moves on the world stage.
Of course, we have some problems with economy, but you can do nothing with that. And we will fix it. You know that Russian people live pretty good. And our economy is recovering. Your sanctions is nothing. Nobody feel it here.
Well, hang on a minute. President Trump has just today, as you will know, said he's considering large-scale further banking sanctions and tariffs if Russia doesn't agree to a peace deal.
And what it looks like, it sounds like a mockery, because you already put all sanctions you could. And we live under sanctions for decades. We have our own...
Popov's words were more than just criticism, they were a chilling warning. He made it clear that if Britain, under Starmer's leadership, kept escalating tensions with Russia, the consequences could be catastrophic. As a nuclear superpower, Russia has never been shy about defending its interests, and Popov's message was blunt. If the UK pushes too far, Russia will respond with force, not diplomacy or sanctions. This wasn't just political theater, it was a stark reminder of the real dangers of provoking a nation with one of the world's largest nuclear arsenals. The risk of pushing a nuclear power too far isn't something to take lightly, and Starmer's aggressive approach could be putting Britain directly in the line of fire. Starmer's hardline stance on Russia has sparked concerns about Britain's global position. By pushing for tougher measures against Moscow and taking an aggressive approach on Ukraine, he risks isolating Britain from its allies and straining diplomatic ties. While his strong rhetoric might resonate with some, it could easily backfire, undermining Britain's credibility on the world stage. In the eyes of other global powers, Starmer's bold moves may seem reckless, making the UK appear as though it's overextending itself in a dangerous game it can't win. Instead of strengthening Britain's role in international politics, his approach could make the country seem unpredictable and isolated. Starmer is walking a dangerous tightrope. On one hand, he wants to appear strong, standing firm against Russia and supporting Ukraine. But every bold statement he makes increases the risk of provoking a real conflict. One misstep, and the situation could escalate beyond control. Russia's calculated response shows just how dominant it remains in international politics. While Britain grapples with internal issues and a strained reputation, Russia's military strength and geopolitical influence remain formidable. In this high-stakes standoff, the power imbalance is clear, and Moscow sees Starmer as an overzealous leader in a game he may not be equipped to win. The world is watching closely, and whatever path Starmer chooses could have lasting consequences for Britain's place on the global stage.